Hey everybody. Hey, welcome to the show everybody. Welcome. Hi. Happy Thanksgiving. We're just getting started and today is of course the big day, the turkey day. We're going to sharpen a knife to start with. And I've got my old Oster sharpener. We're going to take a look at that. I'll bring in the camera for you. And welcome to David's Kitchen. Yeah. Let's get this thing going. Wow, look at that. The settings are pretty bright. Wow. Sarah customized the camera so it works with hers. So we'll just work with it today. It'll be a kind of a, auto adjustment kind of thing. We're going to go ahead and do some knife sharpening. Well, I think we're okay. It's got a lot of natural light. Granular opening here of the literally grinding the knife. Okay, so here's the knife.
Thank you.
Sarah's going to do the cutting over there.
Yeah, that's cutting going on.
Yeah, we got a nice tomato plant growing in the window there. They can barely see that. Yeah, I can stretch it over here.
Oh, I mean, do you want me to come over there?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I thought it was over there.
Yeah, if you want to come over there with the table, you can.
I mean,
Or you can just continue doing that. I'm going to prep over here. So while she's cutting onions, and that knife should be sharper.
yeah, that's better.
Okay, good. I'm going to prep the turkey. So I'll just pull it out of the water that it's in, out of the bag. I picked up some parsley from the garden, so I've got enough parsley. That's kind of a requirement for the stuffing. And today we're going to do an oyster stuffing. Or should we be exotic and do a crab stuffing?
We've never done a crab stuffing.
You want to do crab stuffing?
I don't know.
With sausage? Okay, we'll do oyster stuffing.
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to have to go
Can't
rip it up, the oysters in the other room. I don't have them here.
Oh,
I'll get them. It'll be a while.
I mean,
Nope,
that's fine.
I don't want to do it. All right. Yeah, so people are wondering what's so
There's
wonderful.
sausage and pear.
Yeah, it's too sweet for me, unfortunately. That pear sauce that we made is like super sweet, so I couldn't even. I had like 1 tablespoon. Stuffing is a big
You
carbohydrate.
do whatever you want because you're the stuffing.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do
You
that.
like the stuffing. I'm not a big stuffing fan, so
Yeah.
whatever you want. If you want to do crab,
Okay.
if you want to do oysters, do whatever you want.
Okay, we got their can of oysters here. That'll be for flavor mostly. Okay. Turkey is a frozen turkey, so we're dealing with the problem of making sure it's defrosted. So you want to get it about 5 or so days before it is ready to eat. So just checking my microphone. Good. Yeah, we got a little bouncy cam over here because whenever I hit the camera, it bounces over there. And we've got this other camera here, which I strapped onto this old camera, which Sarah and I got when we first met. It's a good tripod holder, so
Yeah.
kind of low tech. Okay, everybody. Sarah's been really busy working on chopping, so I think she's almost done with all the chopping that she wants to do.
Did you want the knife or something?
No. That's usually what the cooking show is me chopping. So
Chopping.
yeah. So what I'm going to do is just sit and look at the turkey and pull it out of the bag.
Yeah, pull out the turkey out the bag.
Yeah.
You want me to put my hand in there? It's so cold.
Put your hands in there?
Is there in it?
No, I got it. I'm going to go ahead and. I'm wondering if this plastic could be used for something like laundry or, Seems like an unnecessary waste of plastic, but maybe they have a reason they put these plastic bags around the plastic bags. I'm not really sure why they put plastic on top of plastic, but
So they can grab it maybe easier?
yeah,
Because otherwise it's like frozen and slippery.
I guess.
Maybe to give
Yeah.
it some grip.
It just seems like to trap an animal in the ocean with this, it gets in there and never gets out.
That's true. You
So-
can use it for a fishing net.
Or do I just break it apart? I think I will save it for something, maybe storage of potatoes. Okay.
Yeah, when you...
I should just show people my plastic collection because that would be kind of ridiculous. A bookcase full of plastic that I'm recycling is kind of over the
Is that what
top.
you do with all your avocado stuff?
No, I throw those out, but I break them open. The bags for the avocados, that's another, yeah. I take them and rip them open. Here, I'll show you. You guys can do this. Yeah, it's just whenever you get your avocado bag, take it and just open it up like that, So at least it won't be a trap for an animal,
You tear it all out.
I can't. See, I can't make it safe for an animal. I honestly can't. I mean, you rip it apart, but that's as good as you can get it.
Yeah.
It's still plastic waste no matter how much you rip it,
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that too goes in the garbage, which doesn't really go anywhere, but
Landfill.
yeah.
Fortunately, we have a good landfill here in Washington State. Richland or something. Anyway, we have a good landfill here.
We do have a good landfill. I mean, we got a lot of land. And I guess if you have plastic, you might as well just throw it somewhere, so.
Sadly.
And so, well, it does bury and recycle they make a special bacteria that'll take down plastic,
Yeah, I have heard that. Okay, now the other plastic around the turkey.
Yeah, we're going to go slow here because Sarah did a lot of the prep work already, so we're just going to take our time. It's one of those Thursdays, or Fridays, I guess. Today's Thursday. Technology Thursday. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open this up with a knife. The Cutco knife comes in handy. Okay. Hey, and they give you another plastic holder to pull it out.
Yeah, not you cook it with
Yep.
it. They usually do.
And there's some blood at the bottom that has to come out. Okay. Now, one of the things I wanted to do is check the turkey for any abnormal activity. And I don't see anything going on. Do you see it twitching at all? Or?
No, other than me moving it.
Because we had some chicken breast on that came from a living chicken that was twitching still, and I think we're good.
What?
Yeah, it was we had it on the show this past week, all night, the whole show. It had chicken breast that had just been killed, and the animal had just died, and the breast meat was like twitching.
Yeah, I can believe it.
Well, I can believe it too because I saw it, but I don't know how that happens. Oh, here's the gizzard. This is the liver. I'll put that on a plate. We actually cook with everything, and here is the neck. Oh yeah, that's got to go in a pan, and we're gonna make some onions with that, and cook some celery with it. Just a small amount to get started, and then keep adding it until you get the broth. So we'll start with that. We'll cook all that together. I'm going to leave this right
Check
here.
the back, or is the back good?
The back?
Oh, sometimes you put the stuff on the.
Oh, you think they put it on the other side?
I mean, on the neck.
Nope, I think that's it. It's just a little bag and.
Oh, you know what I do?
What?
That's why I was thinking that. I like to heat up some water, and then I pour it inside the inside of the turkey, because when you bake the turkey, you got to bake it until the center is cooked. So this is my trick to kind of start the cooking process for the center of the turkey. Can you hand me that filtered water?
Sure.
So I will just pre-cook some water. I could either do it on the stove or microwave it, usually is what I do.
You need to pre-cook the water in the microwave? You're going to rinse it off? Or?
So what I do is I pour hot water down in the center where it's cold.
Oh, right.
And it kind of gets it to be
Okay,
the cooking
go ahead and zap
process.
that. Yeah, put it for 3 minutes. I'll take the bag. I couldn't get over. I just bought those sweet potatoes, and I guess they were wholesaling them because they just wanted to get them out of there. I just found a rotten one. I have to throw this rotten one out. I got it. I grabbed it from you. But look at that. That's totally wasted. Wasteful food. That's going in the compost heap. So we keep our compost down here in the cupboard. And I just emptied it, so it's good. All right. Well, that's a good idea to get the heat going in the inside. And it doesn't hurt to give it a little rinse with tap water. And then hit it on the inside with the filtered water. Because you never know what's at the processing factory. And of course, this is plastic waste too.
This feather still coming out of the wing.
Oh, how nice. It's a feather.
Or something.
Right.
Something coming out of
That's a feather, man. I think it's the last feather. It's saying, no.
No, I don't want to go. Man.
Yeah, see, that was
That's
really
a tough
the
feather.
machine. It wouldn't believe that this
I can't
clung
do
to
that.
its feather so bad that we literally have to cut it off. He won't let his feather go. That was his last feather. Now this is an animal that was alive at one time, and now it's dead. I don't know what those marks are.
Feather pieces.
No, but they're in both in specific places. Do you think this was medically accurate?
I don't know what it is.
It looks like two markings, like it had electrodes hooked to it prior to. No, I'm just kidding. That's like, okay, that's too weird. Now, another big thing that we do on our turkey day is to make toast. So, because the oyster stuffing requires oysters, and I also have some sausage. I got this Johnsonville sausage for $1 on sale, so I'm going to use this today.
Nice.
She's gonna prep over here. You can just go
Well,
ahead.
I was just going to rinse these off and then get a paring knife, and then I'll start cutting them later.
Okay. She's just gonna get them wet. All right. Here, let me get you. Okay.
So then maybe rinse this over now.
You can almost see the view out the window here with this camera. But we do have a view of the Olympic Mountains out there, which is kind of nice. I keep the hedges trimmed so we can look out over the hedges.
Yeah, I think that's a nice job.
Yeah, I trim the hedges 3 times a year now. It's kind of a pain. But growing laurels, the idea was to create a laurel garden in the front, which we have. It'll almost be enclosed eventually. Yeah, when my mother moved here with us, everyone moved up here. She wanted a laurel garden in the front, like an English laurel garden. That was her big thing. She wanted it. And we could actually build a garden if we really wanted to and have raised beds. But it's just such a bother to grow, in raised beds. Okay, I'll let you do the hot water thing when you're ready. Meanwhile, I'm just going to get the pan prepped over here on low. Okay, so she's got the turkey container. Very nice.
Yeah, because it's so cold inside.
Here, I can hold it up. Here, I'll hold it up for you. Here, I'll grab it. Just pour it. There you go.
I mean, it just runs through, but
Right.
that's way to like, just, I'll do the outside too, just a little bit. Yeah, we put this in the pan now?
No, I'm pretty far away from doing that.
Okay.
Just leave it right
so
there.
it's not in the sink?
No, just let it drain right there. I'm pretty far away from the stuffing process. Okay, now we're going to start over here. If you want to bring me, or I'll get it.
What do you need?
I just need the vegetables to come on over here because we're going to use some of them. I'm going to start the pan at level 3 on the rear pan here. And once it heats up, I'm going to put a little oil in it. So Sarah prepped all of the vegetables for us this morning. She was busy prepping and chopping in the background. We have about 4 stalks of 3 stalks of celery and onion and parsley. Now I'm going to pull from the side of the onion so I don't put the parsley in this dish. What I'm going to do is just put a little bit of onion on there.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's just going to go in the pan as a starter. Because when I get the first thing you do is you start with
The neck.
the neck, yeah. And what we're going to do is create broth. So, and I don't have a lot of water, so I have to wait for water to be created.
Sorry.
Yeah. So what I'm going to end up doing is,
I thought. No. What about the other container?
I have just enough for the starter. You spent out the water in the reverse osmosis thing, so we don't have any there, and we don't have any of the water there, so I have to rebuild the water supply. And that's the problem with using point of use filtration. It's always frustrating because unless you start the day out with full containers, if you have a family of 3 people or 4 people, you're not going to have enough water to feed everybody. So we even have 2 of these 0 water containers, and we still don't even have enough. So the problem with point of use is preparation. You always have to prepare water in advance for every single thing you do. Now, unfortunately, that's the future of mankind. We will not be able to use the water we have because it's completely and utterly contaminated. The New York Times said that 50% of our municipal water supply is toxic. They've actually published that. I'm saddened by the fact that, we all have to use point of use filtration, but we're living in an area where the jets land 10 miles south of us and 10 miles north of us, and they use flame retardant on their planes. And this is a product called PFAS. And PFAS is an issue, an environmental issue that I think a lot of people are concerned about, but there's over 600 Air Force bases in America that use this flame retardant. And even though it's been exposed as a cancer-causing agent in even as low as 1 parts per million, and our community had 400 parts per million when they tested it first. Not our community, but 10 miles south of us, they had 400 parts per million. That stuff doesn't even filter very well. That's the problem. This flame retardant that the Navy continually uses, it won't even filter down. So the Navy spent $7 million on a filtration unit for that city that's near there. And they brought the numbers from 400 parts per million down to 27 parts per million of this PFAS. Well, 1 part per million causes cancer. So the people that are down there in that community have to double and triple and quadruple filter even the water that's been filtered to get to their source, which really raises a question about, what kind of filtration can we do to protect us against things like PFAS? And ironically, the only kind of filtration is the kind that Sarah and I came up with the ocean pipeline. That's the only kind of filtration that will actually purify water and protect it from the PFAS. Because PFAS literally, hey, you want a peeler? We got a peeler.
No.
You know? Okay.
I mean, I don't think it works as well.
All right.
Maybe it does.
I can peel all those potatoes in a jiff if you want. Yeah.
If you want.
Well, it'd be a lot easier than for you to have to cut them off. I can just peel them off. Here. Give me 2 potatoes and peel them. Yeah, give me whatever you want to work with.
How much do you want?
Yeah, those are good. Yeah, these are kind of rough potatoes. Okay, I'll do the peeling in just a bit because I'm going to start this pan now. Anyway, I don't want to go off on a dialogue about water filtration, but point of use filtration is perhaps the most important thing if you're going to, have a clean diet. Oh, I got a little water in there yesterday. Okay. So the zero water filter works really well. When we first used the zero water filter, it got clogged within 5 gallons. That's how much total dissolved solids we have in our water. That's before we had our pre-filter. And Sarah's dad installed this amazing reverse osmosis filter for us, which has a tank down here behind the compost. There's a tank back in there that literally produces, well, we have about 25 parts per million of total dissolved solids coming out of the reverse osmosis filter. Out of the tap is 500. So it goes from 500 to about 25, and then from here we go to here and gets our water filtered. I did ask them to test our community more often for this PFAS.
Yeah.
So I talked to the water guy about it. I'm on it. Okay, I'm just throw a little bit of celery, just a handful of celery in there, and a handful of onions. Sarah's so nice to cut them. I'm just going to throw a handful in there for flavor. And then throw that turkey in there. Turkey neck. Just a tad of water. I'm going to go throw ahead the giblets on it too. The giblets are in a bag, so they give you the bag special. It's the heart and the liver, the gizzards. There's the heart. Yeah. The heart and the liver. Okay. I'll close that up. Keep it at level 3. Just got to kind of fry it for a while. And I'll throw that wax paper out. Okay. I'm going to go do help you with the peeling. Anyway, point of use filtration.
Do you have all that toasting to do, you said?
Yeah, I'm going to do toasting in a little while. Point of use filtration is got to be the single most important thing that we could do in our country to help people, like in Flint, Michigan. And Obama didn't do hardly anything. He did nothing. Neither did Trump for the people of Flint, Michigan. So they're still dealing with that water problem, if you can believe that, after all these years. So I'm kind of I really believe that if we had more water on the planet, we would be able to solve so many problems. Like we hear about how, well, the big issue with growing meat, is the water it consumes. So meat consumes so much more water than soybeans, or genetically, whatever. The best solution to a lack of water is to create fresh water, I mean, it seems logical to me. So why aren't we creating more fresh water, and why are we cutting back on livestock production? That to me makes more sense, is to create more fresh water. And that's logic talking. Not that, we're running out of water and we have to switch entire products and change everyone's diet. Well, no, I mean, if you change everyone's diet, the human genome has adapted to eating certain foods for years. How expect to have people live a long life when they're eating different, products that aren't digested the same way. That's a huge issue that isn't even being addressed. So creating more fresh water is, in my opinion, the solution to whatever water shortage they have. It seems so logical. So we have the ocean pipeline idea, which will be fantastic someday. It's just we're waiting for humanity to evolve to the point where we actually see these visions as realities. Humanity has not quite evolved yet. I was listening to Dr. David Martin the other day, and I respect his work and what he says. And he's been a very vocal critic of democracy as we know it. We should have a much more vibrant republic and democracy. What we have is a facsimile or a prototype of what somebody thought would be a good democracy. But as we all know, not everyone's participating, and it's certainly not a democracy if we have censorship going on. So there's a lot of issues at play here that need to be addressed. And he definitely brings those up. He believes that we can be a much greater nation with a much stronger democracy, and I agree with him. I do. Okay, that plastic that they put in there, I don't cook with it, but it is heat sensitive. I mean, it's heat safe is what it is. So there's Sarah cutting those in here. If you need any more peel, I found I have this agave that might be good just as a topper in there.
Oh, sure.
I know that we're going to keep the sugars down, but I did use the agave for a flavoring agent for the lemon peels that I made. So I'm thinking we could use a little of that too for flavor. You know, like a splash on top.
Yeah.
I think. And then we can cover it with cinnamon and whatever. Okay, so that's
In the past I cooked it with pineapple.
Yeah.
But I heard
You want to put pineapple on it?
there's a lot of
Acid?
I don't know, sugars.
Okay.
But nobody's diabetic here, but I was like, I wonder, because my dad is, so I was like, I wondered if it was good for diabetics, pineapple, but it's not. That's too much sugars for diabetics.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, you know, pineapple itself, when they put it in the container, now you have fresh pineapple, but
Yeah,
the container pineapple, I think we have some down here.
that's fine.
Yeah, like these right here.
Yeah.
Let me see if it has sugar in the container. Let's see.
I'm sure it doesn't have sugar.
Huh. No, you're right. It doesn't have sugar. But the sugar levels are 14 grams times 5. So this entire container is 100, as
But it's
you know,
all natural.
it's natural sugar, but it's still 70 grams of sugar. That's a lot of sugar. I agree. Now, all of those sugared products, and of course this agave is no low sugar either. That's 16 grams in one ounce. So you could theoretically use pineapple with anything here. I don't expect more than a small amount of the agave to be used, you know. Anyway, people that are super sensitive to sugar. I'm sensitive, but not super sensitive. But there are people that literally can't have sugar, or they, you know, without their insulin. Now, I'm hyperglycemic, so I just have to watch out for my levels. My father remained hyperglycemic his entire life, so it wasn't a big deal. I'm cooking the liver on both sides, just kind of braising it. You can flip, you know, it's basically just getting a little bit of a start here going. If you put too much water in there, it's too much. I'm going to add a little sage. Grab the sage from, I've got a little sage left. We have it in the garden. I have a big jar of it. But I'm going to throw a little sage in here just for the flavoring to start with. Fresh dried sage leaves.
I'm doing this and then I realize like I should probably be working on the turkey because this doesn't take as long as the turkey does to cut.
Well, I would be very careful with all that. In fact, if you don't mind me cutting it, I don't mind cutting it because the leverage points are so difficult that, you know. Okay. I just wanted to make, because these things are really dangerous when you don't, you know. There you go. Sorry. I just had better leverage from up above. You guys missed that. I was just over there cutting the sweet potato. Okay. Oh, and look at all the garlic you made. Wow. You prepped a lot of garlic. Thank you. Yeah. I'll throw a little clove in there too. Yes, I have my coffee with me at all times. All right. So yeah, I mean, environmental issues like that are really things that we can solve in our homes and make sure that everybody has point of use filtration. I think the government can be active in that area. We really could. Okay, so the initial stage of cooking the turkey, this thing is to get the water, the broth. Now, normally you'd buy broth for a turkey, but this is a way of doing it without buying the broth. So I'm going to pour water on top of the giblets, and roughly about a cup and a half. There we go. I'm going to turn the flame up to level 6 and cover it up, and what we're going to do is really cook it hard. Part of the cooking process, we hope to get these things done by 12-ish. So by the time we get it in the oven, it's got 3.5 hours to cook. So while you're watching this show, we'll be eating the show, eating the dinner, you know. And Sarah's going to make the bread now. She's got the bread. I'll plug in my toaster for you. You got it. Okay. Okie dokie. Okay. Yeah, I was lucky to find that one can of oysters. I went through the whole closet. I was like, have I been eating these oysters every single Thanksgiving? I think I have.
Yeah.
It was like going through them every time we have a dinner. So I'm just having we're making a fairly small stuffing. Big enough to fit the bird, but no extras, I don't think. So we'll go through about 6 bread slices and we'll cut them. And this is organic bread, you know, you can't beat it.
Yeah.
So it's better than the stuffing you buy at the store, which is higher in salt and has no real nutritive value because it's bleached flour, you know.
Yeah.
Now, if you buy a whole wheat flour on a daily basis, you'll probably get into baking, you know. But we're just not into baking. We don't eat a lot of carbohydrates, Sarah and I. You like certain items, right? Certain
yeah.
crackers and stuff,
Yeah.
whatever.
I like some things.
Yeah.
And I mean, you make a lot of pasta, so that's carbohydrates.
Yeah, I do. I do add a lot of pasta. You know, and I don't know any other way to spread the budget. If I could make you fresh vegetables every day, and all you had to do
You
is...
make an awesome salad usually every day I'm home.
Yeah, I do. But it's hard to make portable food that's not with carbohydrates. That's the problem. And carbohydrates do spread the flavor. That's the nice thing about making. And yet there are carbs that are very low in you know, they make these alternative things. They're called edamame.
Oh, edamame. That's soy.
Yeah, it's soy-based. It's not a carb. It's basically non-gluten.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, there's quinoa. You've tried those quinoa brittles that we
Yeah,
have? Those are pretty good.
Edamame, no.
Yeah. I didn't like edamame. I didn't find it tasty.
I mean,
It
spinach.
tasted like
or-
couscous to me, which is basically chopped pasta.
I mean, there's carrots and carrots have carbs, but not as many as like.
Yeah, carrots are
Anyway,
they're like a vegetable.
I'm fine with just bread sandwiches.
Good. Yeah. Well, believe me, I wouldn't make pasta for you if I didn't have to do a show on Thursday. So, kind of, you're the outcome of, unfortunately, when I make the show on Thursday and then we have it in the refrigerator, I make your lunches, and I know it's really bad for you to eat carbohydrates for lunch, but you are eating some vegetables with your carbohydrates. So it's like you're getting some nutrition along with meat in this type of pasta we've been making. I've been
Yeah.
making a high fiber rotini. So it's not like you're eating white pasta that's just, empty
Yeah.
calories. But what I'm dancing around the subject of, are we really meant to eat carbohydrates?
Well, I think bread and wheat is good. There's
They say that mankind developed on a paleo diet but there were hunters and gatherers. Some of the gatherers ate more of a.
but like vegetables and yeah. Anyway.
It's very difficult to imagine feeding the world on everything without carbohydrates.
They say if you want to plan for a year, plant rice.
Plant rice.
Yeah, if you want to plan for 20 years, plant a tree. And if you want to plan for 100 years, educate children.
Plant or plan? Are you
Plants.
plant?
Like grow.
Right. Well, yeah.
Because it's.
I just don't know if we'll be able to survive without mass carbohydrate agriculture. I've often wondered about that. It's like, without the bread industry, without the carbohydrate industry, would humanity even survive?
I guess that's what I think I like my carbos as bread rather than as pasta. I mean, I don't mind like bread and rice. I prefer versus pasta. But anyway, it's fine.
No, but I mean, can you imagine mankind without farming carbohydrates? How would we have progressed? Potatoes alone might have survived. We might have survived on potatoes alone.
Yeah.
I don't know if we would have ever reached this population without actually growing rice and bread and wheat. I mean, growing wheat, I don't know if we would ever have made it. I mean, the Egyptians were growing wheat dating back 10,000 years. So. In fact, the original wheat had 17 chromosomes in it. And the new wheat,
I saw it, I think I told you about it,
uh-huh.
is full of all the different varieties of wheat.
Oh, really? Hey, we got a big boil going over here. See that? Bless you. Okay, I'll be cutting the bread, so I'm just going to go ahead and prop this. So once you get it out of the toaster, just make white lines like that. And keep it out, just airy, and always watch your fingers when you're pulling a knife. And then just crisscross like this. There you go. And this makes your own breadcrumbs that are very healthy. And today we're going with 6 slices of bread. To make this stuffing is really, I think, incredible. Yeah. Sure. Something down the green bowl is okay. I don't care. That'll work. Okay. but if I didn't do a show on Thursday, I honestly would not even, you know me, I live like on a small amount of food every day, so I don't even know. I recently had a peanut fixation again. I went back to my peanut addiction, and I was pounding through peanuts, you know, because I like peanuts. And it was a, thanks for the bowl, that'll work. And I don't know, I'm hesitant to do that because I noticed that this thing I was having with my arm, this rash around my elbow.
Pick all this.
Yeah, if you want, yeah. Since we have a lot of bread. Yeah, those are the... No, actually, no, I think I'll pass on those. We'll just go with these. Actually, take...
No, you could just not say.
No, this is perfect. Toast that and the other heel slice. Yeah. That'll be good.
Only one regular slice.
Yeah, so I decided to try a couple things. Yeah, that's a thick one. Just put it in there and see it. I tried to... a couple things. I take a chewable vitamin C now because I noticed the rash looked kind of like scurvy. It was like, okay, it's like, well, this is kind of like scurvy. This is a symptom of scurvy. If you have low vitamin C, you can, and vitamin C is always good for preventing bruises. So I thought, well, I'm going to chew on a vitamin C tablet. So I'm going for a 500 milligrams times 2, a gram. They say you can take your vitamin C levels up to 3 grams a day. So I could literally have 6 of those chewables, but I'm not planning on it. So I'm getting a positive result of cutting off of my peanuts in my diet and the vitamin C I added. So I'm experimenting. You know, this is how you can analyze your own body, figure out what's going on. Because I work out and it puts a stress on my elbow. So I started getting this little thing in the back of my elbow. And I remember my grandfather had a similar situation. And it was really bad. It was like a crusty elbow kind of thing. You know? It's like, wait a second, what's that? You know, and I researched it, and if you have a severe inflammation in your joints, they call it phlebitis. Okay. That's one of the words they use for it, phlebitis. And if you have like pain in your joints, it can get really bad. And like some people, like Richard Nixon, he had phlebitis in his knees, and he couldn't even walk. And they say it may have killed him. You know, it may have been the end of him, because his life kind of went downhill when. And they use corticosteroids to inject in phlebitis, and I don't have phlebitis. I'm fine. I can do. But it's just, I'm thinking that might be the precursor to phlebitis. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm working on a diet level. Like I'm probably going to grab a vitamin C right now, chewable. Yeah. It helps with energy too. But these things right here, see? Chewable vitamin C. We got it at the food co-op.
Oh, you toasted it again?
I just second round. I like to make them crispy.
Okay.
And I'm boiling this. Look at how hard that's boiling. See?
Yeah.
And yeah, these things are really big. So what I'm going to do is take a half of one. And they're scored right here. See that? A little flaxseed on my hand. Yeah, they're scored right there. I'm going to take it and break it off with my finger. That's tough. Actually, it might be better if I took a knife and cut it. Let's try that. There we go. I'll save one for later. So I'm eating half of a 500. And just sucking on it. Perfect. Okay. We got the extra toasty ones going in there for flavor. Boy, that's great. roaring boil in the back on the broth. I'm cutting this up. And the crustier it is, the easier it is to cut. Wow, great bread. Thank you, Sarah. So, a couple things. I'm on that and enjoying that benefit. Not eating the peanuts, because, you know, these are not organic peanuts I'm eating. I don't know what's going on with the peanuts, because I'll tell you, I got so into it, I'd be buying jars of these and finishing a half a jar in one day. See that? So, I mean, that's too much. I was overdoing it. So, feeding an addiction to peanuts is not exactly something I wanted to do in my life. So, I did stay away from peanuts for a while because I had that experience where I thought I got into some contaminated peanuts, and I'm still doubtful about that. But then again, I'm still leaning toward, gee, maybe I do have a reaction somehow, you know, to peanuts. So by the time I finish my vitamin C treatment and pull my peanuts out of the diet,
You want eggs?
yeah, we'll need the rest of the cage-free eggs on the left. Those will be good. By the time I figure this out, and if my symptoms are gone and I'd have no more redness around my elbow here, I'll give you guys a report.
You want that knife or can I?
If you want to cut it, it's up to you. Right. Go ahead.
I'm getting the onions. You want to do the eggs and
Oh, we're good. Are you doing for another onion?
well, for the green bean casserole.
Okay, good. All right. Oh, and the green beans you can prep too. I'll bring them out.
Well, you can just keep going with your stuffing. I'll work on these.
Okay, we'll do the stuffing. We gotta get the bird in the oven.
That's why I'm like, that's what I'm doing. It's like, what's this bread? And
Yeah, well, I'm not really too worried about it. I think we're good. It's a small bird. It's going to take 3 hours. Luckily, the bird will fit into the container. So, we got this container right here. One of the reasons why I'm not eating a lot of the chewables is because there is sugar. There's a gram of sugar in there. I would highly recommend grabbing some chewables if you want. They're very good as an added bonus for your diet. Okay. Okay, this is going to take about 4 eggs. So we'll pull out 4 eggs here. If you're cooking for a large group of people, you'd need double the stuffing. But that takes about 4 eggs. I've made 50 turkeys, so I'm pretty good on eyeing stuff on. And Sarah's made all the prep work easy, so I'm just walking around. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'll put the garlic in there. Okay, I'm going to infuse the bird with garlic. I'm still making the broth.
okay. This was,
Yep.
you don't want it.
What you need?
Nothing.
No, I'm good. Okay, so what I do is take and make slivers of the. I kind of make slivers like this of the garlic. So there's a pointed end on each one. There you go. Take a nice big garlic and sliver it. And then take a pointed knife. An older pointed knife. Looking at the bird here. Go in like this. And push the flap side next to the knife. Like that. See that how the clove is going down the flat side of the knife? It goes right in there. Do the other side of the breast. Just slide it right in. Super easy. But man, it really boosts the flavor with garlic.
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah. I like it too. In fact, there's room. See how easy that goes right? The flat side slides right in there. There's room to do it at the base too, down at the bottom. Super easy, works like a charm. There we go. All right, cool. I'm going to do the legs too. So I'm cutting. So what do you think of those new quinoa things that we're getting?
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah, they really are tasty. I can only eat a couple because they're so sugary, but it's 10 grams of sugar in a few of those.
You know where the bigger pot is for the green beans?
Yeah, the big casserole. I just pulled it out right here. It's under my hat. Okay, I'm going to go down the side. Do people put the garlic in the wings? It's hard to get them in the wings, but you can try, you know. But you see how easy it is to just slip it in underneath these. Okay. Okay, I put the garlic in there. So I'll show you how the wing is kind of hard to get it in there. Like you can go through the side muscle like this. I guess I can put it in the wings too. There we go. And we'll flip it over and give it the bird. Okay, we're done. Hey, and I use a little tap water on the outside because it's very good for rinsing off and getting rid of any type of germs that might be on there. If you want to splash it with clean water, you can. But my reverse osmosis filter is not catching up, so I'm going to kind of back off of that for a while. Okay, some people treat the pan. So I'm going to, because I'm running the pan on I'm just going to give it a little spray here. Light spray. Use the atomizer, you know, it's fantastic for saving on oil. And I use safflower oil as a rule. If you want to spend a little bit more money, extra virgin olive oil is fantastic. You can always shop for good deals. We're pretty good that way. Okay, so the broth is almost ready. It's been hard cooking for about 20 minutes. And when you make this whole thing, we're going to add all the cooked vegetables have to be in here. So I'm going to open this up right there. Leaving all that there, I'm just going to throw this container of celery. We don't need the celery for the beans, so we're just going to throw it all in the boiling water, like that.
You can use all those onions because I got these onions.
Oh, perfect. Okay, and I'll use all the onions. I'm going to pull the parsley out because that goes in there without cooking. And we'll just throw the rest of the onions in here on the broth, and we'll let that basically glaze or simmer for just a little while at high temperature. Not simmer, but I should keep it level 6. And we're going to basically give it a quick cook because it's all going in the stuffing. That's going to be incredible. And the onions are full of nutrition, and they're organic onions too. And parsley from my garden. And yeah. Now the sausages have to be cooked as well. So I'm gonna get this pan going right here on the front. And I'm going to borrow some of those onions from there. I guess I didn't need them all in there.
Do you want some of these?
No, I got too many in here. I'm just going to put them in here because I usually split this up. I'm going to put some of the onions from there. That's a little too much. I'm going to put it in this pan right here. Yeah, the giblets and that can all stay in there and keep cooking. Basically, that has to come up to a high flame. Those onions are glazed. Otherwise, the stuffing isn't quite done completely. You have to pre-cook the onions, the celery, and the sausage. The oysters can go in fresh, right out of the can, because they're pre-cooked. So, what I'm going to do is cut up the sausages. Alrighty. Yeah, I'm good. I think I have the white knife somewhere. Yeah, I see it. All right. Yeah, I picked these sausages up for $1. I figured out, well, they can't be bad. I mean, you know, they make them Ziploc so you can use them again, I suppose. But we'll just use the whole thing. Cut the whole thing off. Some people cook for themselves. They only use 1 or 2 sausages at a time, so the Ziplocs are really kind of a good innovation. But again, we're so involved with plastic, it seems like plastic is everywhere. Okay, we're going to put the, yeah, it smells good. The Johnsons are going in there. That's a good brand, Johnsonville. Is that a turkey sausage? Let's see.
I bet it's pork.
No, it's a breakfast sausage with pork in it. Yeah. So if you are a Muslim or Jewish, you're going to want to cook with turkey sausage here. If you follow the regimen. Okay. All right, I'm going to get that front burner going on a little bit of oil. Throw a little oil in there with the onions. Okay, we're going to crisp up the, we're going to cut up the sausages so that they're ready to go. Now you can add apples to stuffing. That's really a good thing. We don't have any today, but we're going to have an oyster stuffing today with sausage. So you mostly eat the meaty sausages, so you want to slice them pretty thin. So it kind of melds right into the meal. You won't even notice what you're eating. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so good. I'm a big stuffing guy. Even though I'm a low carb guy, I'm still pretty interested in stuffing. It's one of the things that I have to watch out when I'm eating. It's like I can't eat a lot at one time. So I'll have like a cup of stuffing or half a cup or something. But hey, you know, living with a regulated diet is better than having to be hooked up to insulin, you know?
Yeah.
You know, if I didn't catch this problem of mine, because I know I spotted it because my dad had it. If I hadn't caught it in time, you know, you become pre-diabetic. You don't have that ability to create insulin, and pretty soon, you know, you start medical, and then they go to injectables, and you know, you can survive as long as you're getting expensive medicine. Now, the cost of insulin has gone so high under Biden. People are telling me that they pay 4 times more right now for insulin than when they paid under Trump, which is shocking. So just put all the sausages in on the pan and then cover it right up. and cook it on a high flame. We got that on level 6. We got this on level 6. I'm going to turn the back one down to simmer now because it's pretty much ready to go. The broth is ready to go back here. Yeah. In fact, I'm turning it off. I'm going to turn that off, let it sit there. I'm going to use the remainder of the turkey neck and the gizzards. And what I'll do is add a little bit more water to it and slowly cook that to make the gravy while the turkey is cooking in the oven. So that turkey neck, it has more life in it. The longer you cook it, and if you cook it for a long time, I mean, literally the meat just pulls right off of the bone. You could put that in your gravy. That's kind of the best part. I'm going to put some more water in it later. So we got Sarah made some more water, so we're good. Thank you. All right. So we're going to make the sausage. And we're almost getting ready to stuff the bird. And give it a rotation. Cook it at a high level and just keep rotating it. I'm going to pull that off and throw some more onions in there. Yeah, the onions look good. And I think I'm going to throw some more sage in this mix. I've got some fresh sage in the garden. We have our own sage plant, a big one outside. We harvest in the summer. But I'm going to cook some sage in there with it. A little bit more in there. And this is going in the turkey, so you can put sage inside the turkey, on the turkey. Nice. Okay. That should be enough broth and juice, and there's going to be some oil in the sausages. We'll keep that. Just giving it a quick fry, just so everything the ingredients kind of open up and flavors start to burst. I'm going to throw some, I'd say about 2 tablespoons of sage for the whole meal. Yeah. I don't think you can go wrong with that. Because remember, sage is one of the key things that people look for in their turkey meal. Is that flavor, unusual flavor.
I like the garlic.
Yeah, and you could put some garlic in there too in the stuffing. I'm going to put some garlic in with the sausage. Good idea. And I'm not a big cranberry buff, but today we did get the best cranberries. So this is a product that the O brand makes called whole berry cranberry sauce.
Nice.
All right, this is the top quality organic, so nothing but the finest here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like cranberry sauce. David likes stuffing.
Yeah. All right, we're almost done here. The stuffing is a big hang up. This bird looks good. Looks like it's waiting to hit the oven. It's got that I want to be cooked look. Look at that. It's got a big flap there. I better get my sutures out. I've got these sutures from 50 years of cooking. It's amazing. They're still here. I call them sutures for lack of a better word, but they're just metal spikes, basically. They'll hold the bird down around the flappy parts of its skin. Okay, we're almost done there. I think I can turn that off. Sausage is mostly pre-cooked anyways. We're good there. Okay, we're all set to bring it all together. Okay, here we go. Let's do this. Okay, so here's your stuffing pan. Right. We're going to throw some eggs in there. Right on the bread. 1, 2. Come on. No cracks for today, please. Thank you. Okay. Keep an eye on for shells. You don't want to get shells in there. And then, there we go. 4 of them should do. Okay. Let's throw parsley in there. Fresh parsley. Throw the nice hot, all those sausages in there. Then take the gizzard and lift that out of the pan, put it in the sausage pan, along with the heart and some of the vegetables, just to, for flavoring the gravy. Now, I'll take that water.
Okay.
I'm just going to add it to the gizzard. Isn't that nice? That's the gravy. So I'm gonna continue cooking it.
Okay.
And that's going to stay on the front burner at level 3. Then I'm going to take everything in the back. Make sure there's enough in there. There's about a cup, another cup. So this is about 1.5 cups of water. And we throw this right on top of here like that. And the final ingredient is the oysters, which we'll pull right out of the can. And Sarah's going to get the can opener for me. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to open up the can of oysters. And again, this is mostly for flavor, If somebody has an aversion to oysters, they're not going to see a lot of oysters in this meal. It's going to be gone. Pretty much it all melds right in.
Cook in.
Yeah. And this just goes right on top with the broth and everything. And then take the whole thing and go like this. Oh, you can smell those oysters. That's great. Go like this. Bring the bottom to the top. There we go. All right. All right. Now I'm going to bring the... actually, I'm going to turn this burner off. And I bring that pan over there. Bring it over here. Thank you. And if you'd be so kind as...
Do you want the light on there?
Sure. If you're so kind as to hand me the bird. Or actually, I'll grab the bird. I'm good. I got it. Come here. See how strong my muscles are.
Yeah.
I've been working out. Okay. So you make it really easy for yourself. And you want to bring the pan over to the bird so you don't have any crevices between you and then you take and spoon it in like this.
Okay.
See that? There you go. And you just show it. Yeah, perfect. And I'm just going to put it right in there. Do you put carrots in the stuffing? No, you do not. Celery and onion. And then whatever else. I mean, some people put walnuts and apple as opposed to walnuts and apple works really well. Now they say you want to leave a little bit of room in the top. You don't want to overstuff it because it likes a little air to breathe in there. So I'm going to take these things and go like this through one side like this, and you have to grab it and go to the other side like that, and then give it a twist, and then go over to the bottom like that. So it kind of brings it in. See?
Like a little envelope kind of.
Yeah, it's like a little button, And then I'm going to go around the other side. That was with one.
You want to turn the whole pan around?
Nope, I'm good. You're right, that would have been smarter. No, and since I'm going to go breast side down, actually I'm going to put another one in there just as a backup on the other side.
Okay.
Because I've got this big bun I'm going to kind of pin in there.
Okay. Piece of meat or whatever.
Just a meat bun. And then I'm going to cover it with a little garlic powder.
And sage.
And sage. So garlic powder, sage. You can put a little pepper on there too. Pepper is always good. And the sage. beautiful. Okay, I'm going to put that face down.
That way it cooks while it cooks the moisture's going down into the breast.
Yeah. This is a kind of a problem because you got to kind of push it in. And it looks like I did make the extra stuffing, so I will be making a separate container. So, okay. And I think I'm going to add one more egg to it too. Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to take this and go through there, kind of string it through. Come here. And then I'm going to go across and grab something. In this particular instance, this didn't give me much to grab onto at all. Okay, I'm going to preheat the oven to 350. Okay, so I think we're good there, and I'm going to get another container to cook this in. But again, the same routine. You could put a little pepper on the bottom, and then garlic powder. And then you can throw a little sage on the outside too.
You want glass or metal?
I'll take glass, is fine. No, I like to take a little oil too and spray it. It just makes the bird a little crispier on the outside. So some of you who like to eat the skin, can eat the skin. Okay, so this bird does look like it's almost going to fit. So the pot that I put it in is almost sealed, which is good, See if we can get an adjustment here. Yeah, it'll work. It's good. Yeah, it has enough to breathe in, so it's perfect.
That's good.
Okay, so this whole thing goes in the oven. I'm gonna put it in there now because it's preheating. Okay, and then I'm going to take that bowl. We can actually use this bowl, if that's okay.
Okay, with that. Is that
This
big
one will
enough?
work. Yeah.
That seems like it's not deep enough.
I think it is.
A lot.
I think we got it.
Because I got this right here.
Okay, we'll use that one then. Okay, let me spray it with a little bit of oil.
You want it in another egg.
Just dirty. Oh, it's just disgusting. I don't know, did I clean it? Bless you. Bless you. Yeah, that's enough right there. Okay. We're going to put a little oil in it. Okay. And put another egg in there. Oh no, I have other eggs. I have to get the original eggs. We almost used them all. Okay. Put one more egg in here. For extra binding power. Okay, that should do it. And we'll go ahead and put that on in the pan. We'll have an extra thing of stuffing, which is good. Which has been a tradition. Okay. And I think I'm going to put a little cheese on it too, because it does get a little dry at the top. I'm going to put some Assaggio cheese on it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Take a little cheese, that should top it off. Might as well put it all in there, right? Who doesn't like cheese? Is this a number 2 plastic? I don't know. Let's take a look. The lid won't take it, but I think it's number 5.
Yeah, I think it's.
Yeah, it's number 5. They won't take that out of our recycler. We would have to drive to Bellingham, if you can believe that. Okay, we're a nice piece of tin foil we're going to cover it up with. There we go. And we're good to go. I'm going to put it in the oven with the item, and I'll pull it out in about an hour. Okay. It can go side by side. Now, Sarah is not going to be making pies this year because of my sugar thing. So we're going to be just having sweet potatoes, and she's going to help you with that. So
Okay.
I'm going to clean up the kitchen.
I don't think we have any pecans.
No, we finished the pecans. We have no walnuts.
I have walnuts.
Oh, you do?
I don't know if walnuts work with sweet potatoes though.
Oh. Well,
What do you think?
we don't have any pecans from the old times. Okay.
I don't think so.
I think walnuts will work great.
Here.
Okay, Sarah's going to throw that in there too. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Compost.
Perfect. Okay, and that's dirty, so whenever I touch this thing, I throw it down here and then I wash my hands off. All about keeping clean. Okay, now I'm going to clear out of the kitchen for you. I'm going to put this on a back burner over here. And I'm going to clean these off while you're doing that.
What do you want to do with the? Do you want to put the green bean casserole?
Oh yeah, you can prep the green bean casserole. Well, actually, you're good at making the sweet potato dish, so I'll prep the green bean casserole. I was thinking you could prep the sweet potato dish right now, unless you want to take a break, and I can do this.
The sweet potato dish is just gonna add. Show it. I already have it prepped
Oh, you do?
in some ways.
Okay.
Other than maybe adding some tinfoil on top to cook it. Got your sweet potatoes cut up. And then
How
we're
do you
going
do
to
it?
add a little bit of cinnamon.
Okay.
I mean, I've made it sweeter in the past, but
Well, we're going to use a little agave on it. But do you put the nuts on it too?
yeah, I can.
Okay. Looks good. What about this area in here? Gotta cleanse it.
I mean, that's
Okay, looks like there's a blemish on this one.
And then
Okay.
let me get some walnuts.
Yeah, Sarah's gonna get some walnuts. We'll basically it cooks itself, like, right? You just put a little oil on it, and kind of blends into itself. So this show, which is recorded from about 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock, will be a 2-hour show. We'll start from 3 to 5 and break off into a repeat. So, yeah. Depends on when we finish our prep, because the turkey went in at 12:23, which means by 3:30 it'll be pretty much done in the oven at 350. So, cool. Yeah, I think that'll be good. You know what I have, which is interesting. See, that'll be good. I have some papaya and fruit nut mix that might be good.
Oh yeah, that sounds even better.
Yeah, I mean with this mix. Let me rehydrate it. I can use this bowl, right?
Yeah, let me rinse it out.
Okay. Well, these are mostly date nuts, and there's some pepitas in here, but Put a little water in that, maybe.
Where is the water? You got the water over on that side.
Yeah. Okay. I'm thinking that'll give it moisture at the bottom, too, you know? And we'll just add walnuts to that. Yeah, I guess you're crushing them by hand. You want to use the mallet in a plastic bag?
Maybe.
Okay. I'll take some of these walnuts and I'll pound them for you. Yeah, I'm sure this will be fine. I just took an old bag. Okay. Sure. Okay, before we do that, if you hand me the agave, we'll kind of pre-glaze everything. I'm just going to put a little bit of,
What should I put this on? Oh.
I'm just going to put this in there. Okay, give it a little mix and then just throw it on top. Okay, that starts. Good. Just right on top. Yeah. And I'm going to take some oil and spray it too. Okay.
This is the least amount of sugar I've ever done, but
Well, I'm going to put agave on top of it. This is loaded with sugar. You won't be hurting for sugar. And we'll take it all and press it in, and we're good to go.
okay, and then one more thing for you to do is the mushrooms.
Yeah, so the mushrooms, I'll cut the mushrooms.
Alright, I'll just stir this in the fridge until we're ready to cook it, like an hour. When we flip the bird.
When you flip the bird? Okay.
Yeah, we flip the bird to make the breast top crispy. So most of the time it's cooked breast down. But then we'll flip it, and then that's when we'll put in the sweet potatoes in the oven.
Apparently some people got a good picture of my toes.
What?
Yeah, the camera flipped out and it got a picture of my toes in the picture.
You've got beautiful toes, so
Oh, I know.
I've always been telling people how nice your feet are.
I know, and I appreciate that.
I always wear socks on my feet because my feet are so ugly, but
No, it's not true.
I don't like them.
Well, your toes are, yeah, well, whatever. But
David has beautiful feet.
yeah, so all of you people who are into feet, I guess you just got a real treat for Thanksgiving.
I know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Jeez.
David has beautiful feet.
Some of you don't know, I'm not a professional foot model yet, but I do plan on starting my career as a professional
Alright,
foot model.
now he's gonna cut up all the. No, you want me to cut up all the mushrooms?
Well, not all of them. We're gonna be cooking them for the casserole, so I usually pre-cook the mushrooms.
Well, you don't have.
That's a lot better.
Okay. What about the pre-cooking don't you pre-cook the beans in?
Yeah.
That's why I don't pre-cook it, because it cooks all together.
Well, okay. If you want to throw raw mushrooms in there, go for it.
No, I don't.
It'll taste like raw mushrooms when you're done.
Green beans.
No, I'm just going to pre-cook some mushrooms.
Here, I'll bring this over and eat.
Well, you're kind of getting ahead of me here because I'm really kind of feeling pressured, honestly. I have a different pacing. The whole dinner is totally paced out slower than this, so slow down, okay? Thanks. Slow down. Normally this dinner takes 3 hours, and I'm already barely at an hour and a half right now. So I portioned out 3 hours for the meal, and we're already at an hour and a half, so we've done the work of 2 hours in 1.5 hours. So I really don't like rushing.
Yeah.
The whole point of cooking on Thanksgiving is to enjoy the meal and enjoy the cooking process. So, yeah. Thank you. the old adage, you know, blowing your nose in the kitchen isn't the best thing. So rinse your hands off, David. Yeah, I really, right now I'm trying to find a pan. So, there it is. All right. Yeah, everything takes time. The pacing of a meal like this is a extremely arduous process. And Sarah took a lot of the time off by doing all the cutting in the beginning, so that kind of gives me extra time to kind of slow down. So yeah, prepping the mushrooms is essential with the onions, because if you put the onions, the mushrooms in raw with all the beans, and today we are going to use a can of cream of mushroom soup that I've been wanting to get rid of because it has MSG in it. But hey, I'm at the point where, hey, a little MSG won't hurt anybody. With all the different things that are going on in the world, I used to think, well, gee, I better not use MSG in my bean dish. And now it's like, yeah. I see people lined up at the fast food restaurants every day shopping for their genetically modified food. And I'm going, you know, a little MSG won't kill anybody. It's not the end of the world if you have a little MSG. Yeah, they wouldn't put it in cream of mushroom soup if it wasn't a good preservative. Now, could we talk about all the things that are going to happen with MSG in your body? You know, I don't really want to go there. We've been over that a few times. I'm sure chatters are talking about MSG right now. You know, it's like, okay, how is MSG really in the big picture with all the things going on? And I can't even name all the things going on because of censorship rules. With all the things happening in this world right now, for me to worry about MSG is utterly absurd. Utterly absurd. So yeah, this can's from like 2005. I think I've got to eat it. 2013. So it's 8 years old. Yeah, I think I really need to eat this cream of mushroom soup. So I'm going to prep this cream of mushroom soup in another container. Yeah. I'm just at the point where, you know, after 2 hours of cooking, it's time to slow down. Thank you. Time to cool the jets, slow down. Luckily, we're not making pumpkin pies today, which we would normally make. Oh, what a nightmare. When you think about all the work that goes into the full meal that mothers and families are cooking right now in America, it's shocking. And I have literally worked 5 to 6 hours nonstop to make a big meal, to have some relative come up and literally grab a piece of the turkey before I even feed it to people. Literally grab a chunk of the turkey and start eating it. I've had that happen to me, where I spent 5 hours making a meal, and I've even had a situation where a relative would come in. At one point, we made a bean dip, and it was a 5-layer deep bean dip. Had beans, avocado, you know, you name it. It was incredible. Sour cream, guacamole, the whole thing. And it was really a good bean dip too. It's like incredible. And we saw a relative literally eat most of the bean dip himself in one meal. I'm not going to name names, but I can tell you, when you slave over a kitchen for 5 or 6 hours making a big Thanksgiving dinner and to see that type of thing go down, it's extremely difficult to have a good Thanksgiving. You know, you get people grabbing the food right before it gets to the table. I mean, I'm telling you, it's like, that's just not necessary. it's kind of bizarre, in fact, to think that people who don't even cook, like relatives coming by eating, we're going to open the can after 8 years of being overdue here. But this is why you use MSG. There you go. It looks exactly like it did when it was first put in the can. Smells good too. Yeah. So there you have it. People can fixate on products, but cream of mushroom soup has got to be the biggest ingredient in American bean dish ever. There you go. Nice. Okay, and we'll get the rest of that with a little bit of milk in there. Well, my stress level increases rapidly when I'm told how to make something, you know. When you've been making things for 50 years and you're told how to do it, it's like, yeah, that's not exactly the kind of stress I need right now. So, it'd be great if making a dinner was just throwing it all in a container, you know. You don't really have to prep these.
That's how I cook with my sweet potatoes.
Yeah, I know, it worked with sweet potatoes, but you see the beans? You can bake them fresh like that, but you can steam them too. But the mushrooms definitely. I'm concerned about the. It's a 3-hour cook on the beans, so it should be fine. But I'm just concerned about the mushrooms getting that flavoring. That's the thing. So I'm actually pulling out some butter, some unsalted butter. I'm going to put on the pan and get the onions going with some mushrooms. And then we should be good. Plus I have to fill up 3 hours of video and I only had an hour and a half to fill up. So that's part of my problem. You know, I personally want to watch a show with you right now. That's really where I'm at. I woke up wanting to watch more of that show that we're watching, and I'm going to try to do this, get it started so we can fit it one episode in, if that's okay. Because I was so addicted to that show, I thought, you know, I want to watch that show. We should have enough time for that. Okay, I'm going to get some butter going on the pan. We're going to saute the mushrooms in butter and onions. We're going to throw the onions in on top of this. There we go. And we're going to put some more garlic in there too. Sarah did such a great job of prepping the food. I'm just going to kind of work with it. Alrighty. No, I love Thanksgiving. It's one of my favorite days, and I love to cook too. So this all fits for me. It's not a bad thing. Time-wise, I have the time, and we have the technology too. You know, we're living in a GE kitchen of tomorrow right now. I'm not waiting for the modern kitchens to arrive. I already live in a modern world. So unlike many people who think, well, someday we'll have an automated house. I don't want an automated house. You know, I'd rather install the clapper for my lights. Clap on. Well, I don't want to take the trademark away. But yeah, I mean, I prefer to have passive technology. In fact, if you don't mind, I'd like to take this time to talk about passive technology. Thank you. Glass top, very, very, very passive. I could buy an induction range, might save some energy, but I have no problem cleaning this stove up. It's incredibly easy to clean. I would highly recommend a GE because it's such a great product. These stoves are built to last. So we bought this, 10 years ago? Yeah. At least. And it's still doing great, yeah. And we got the General Electric refrigerator, the one without the ice chest. That's really great. You get the one with the ice chest, and like a friend of mine, he had a water pipe in the back of his refrigerator burst, and he literally broke all the his whole kitchen had to be redone. He spent $30,000 more redoing his kitchen because of a water leak from a plastic pipe that cost him like 15 cents. So you can imagine a water connection to your refrigerator bursting and your whole house flooded. That's what happened to him. So I like these refrigerators without the ice chests in them, ice makers. I really do. So I'm happy. I mean, I couldn't be happier with my kitchen. David's kitchen, we got the waterfall going. So, yeah, you really couldn't expect a better place to live. So when I used to live in California, there was this place called Disneyland. You probably know, you've heard of it once or twice. And my family used to go to Disneyland because we had a summer camp that we serviced kids in the area. Well, I grew up with a lot of other kids. When I was from 1 to 5, I had a very social life. Actually, I'm good. I'm rinsing my hands, so don't worry. Every time I do that, I hit tap water. But yeah, I had a really great childhood up until 5 years old. My parents had this summer camp, and they enjoyed. They had about 100 kids, 3 different sessions, so 300 kids for the summer. And each session we went to Disneyland twice. So I went to Disneyland 6 times every summer. Oh, and we went to Knott's Berry Farm too. My dad had so much he put into it. It was like the best camp ever. And they were really gung-ho, and they were helping everybody. And for a very low fee, kids could go to summer camp for 6 weeks, 3 times. So. And I enjoyed all of that. That was just an incredible childhood I had. Just fantastic. I'm going to slice the mushrooms up. They don't have to be small slices, just big ones. And I was just absolutely, it was like being raised in heaven. It was incredible, So I'm so fortunate to have had that lifestyle. But most people don't get that as kids, They don't have that type of fun environment. So I was so blessed to have that as a kid that it really made my life much easier as I got older insofar as you're given a good foundation. And, a lot of kids don't have that. They don't. I mean, without a good foundation, I probably would have been, who knows? I mean, I could have been a crackhead or a meth head or spend my life in prison or something. Who knows? I mean, you got to wonder. So when I look at people who are literally being raised in a tough environment, and I see that they're not happy with their life, but I can't replicate Disneyland for everybody. We can't give them 5 years of Disneyland as a child. So with that type of environment, I never would have had any sense of stability, really. So I'm not sure how I would have turned out if I hadn't had a stable early childhood. Because after 5 years old, my life was not stable. It was completely, uprooted. My mother got in a car accident. Well, let me roll that back a little bit. My mother had been dealing with some issues of raising children before she had me. She had really been she literally had a nervous breakdown with the other kids. So her doctor, before she had me, she was told that she had to have a tranquilizer, and he suggested that her doctor, suggested try this new tranquilizer, Mrs. Sponheim. It's called thalidomide, and I think you'll really benefit from it. And she listened to her doctor tell her that. My mother was a trained nurse who had, a lot of experience in medicine. And she listened to this airhead doctor tell her that thalidomide was perfectly safe. Well, you probably know that thalidomide ended up causing so many birth defects that people to this day it's the horror drug of all times. Luckily, my mother never took it. She was smart enough to never have taken that drug. But you can imagine what my life would have been had she taken that drug. I would have had no arms and no legs. I mean, seriously. I met a victim of the thalidomide problem. He was a basket case. He literally was, they call them basket cases because they literally have to live in a basket. Victims of the pharmaceutical industry. And, oh yeah, thalidomide, they're out there and they're still alive, some of them. But you can only imagine what that would have amounted to in a person's life and how horrible that would have been. So, I mean, I lived an incredibly perfect childhood. Incredibly perfect. And then my mother, she had a recurring problem with the nervous issues, I'm going to glaze more butter on there. So after running a day camp for 5 years, I think the stress level had kind of picked up on her life, and she decided to go to a different doctor, I guess, and he gave her a blend of medication. He gave her penicillin to fight her cold, and codeine. Yeah, so she had like a penicillin codeine reaction, and he was also prescribing Valium to her. So I mean, by the time she finished dropping off the last kid at the day camp, she was so tired from the day that I think she collapsed at the wheel, literally. I don't know what was going on, but she had some sort of a chemical reaction, and in 1965 she crashed, and it was a horrible accident. She went right through the windshield. This is before seatbelts, right? 1966 seatbelts came out with Robert F. Kennedy raising the issue. He published it he published the article of Ralph Nader's story and got national exposure for Ralph Nader, or Robert F. Kennedy did. He published it in believe it or not, like a mechanics magazine. People were into autos at the time, so, Anyway, the story went viral, and then Ralph Nader became a national phenomenon, and everyone knew about, unsafe at any speed, and then they put seatbelts in a year after my mother crashed. So, when you go through a windshield, life changes. But she was lucky to be alive. There was a really wonderful, let me get some more mushrooms in there. There was a really wonderful doctor that was available for her at the crash site. So he actually was a plastic surgeon. He said, "Ma'am, I'm right here. I've got you." He literally pulled her head and put her head back on and held it down. She had lost her forehead. Her whole forehead had fallen off. And the plastic surgeon that eventually did the work on her was so skillful that you could never tell that she had been in a car accident. I looked at her, this surgery was so perfect and flawless, but she had glass in her forehead all the way up until the last days on earth. She had glass in her forehead. She lived with glass in her forehead. So, word to the wise, don't take any prescription medicine and take a drive. Okay? It may be authorized by your doctor, but she had a very bad reaction. It wasn't Valium that did it. It was a combination of a reaction to penicillin and codeine. Anyway, I'm going to put this right in here now. I'm adding to the mix a little bit. Okay. What I like to do is add, once I glaze the mushrooms, and we'll keep glazing it a little bit more, just glazing it slightly with the garlic. You don't have to have a seasoning in here. It's strictly a dish that requires no seasoning. The mushroom soup is enough. I'm going to leave the mushrooms or the beans whole. Some people like to break them. Let me ask, sir. You want me to break the? Yeah, I think we should break. All hand break them. All right. Yeah, so you can cook the beans whole, but I prefer hand breaking them. So I'm going to take this mix of mushrooms here and kind of break these in there like this. Yeah, and I'm not going to pre-cook them per se. I'm just going to break them in there. I'm going to put them all back in the casserole dish. But the sometimes when you get these beans, you have to pull the ends off them. Luckily, these were all prepped at the market, so I don't have to do that. Fresh beans. Yeah, this is the best. You can use frozen, whatever. You can even use canned beans. They make these canned beans right here. I'll show you. Now Del Monte makes French style cut green beans. They also make string beans, but these are non-GMO, so you can get that product if you really want a quickie. Yeah. So, having yeah, I'm just going to roll this around kind of. Having had a mother who had a car accident at 5 years old, my life changed dramatically. I mean, it was like a shock, actually. It was almost like I was suffering from traumatic change in her personality. Completely different than anything I'd ever seen. And when a person has a brain injury like that, they're never the same. Never the same. Yeah, so I went through a withdrawal period where I didn't have a mother, basically. She didn't really exist anymore, I mean, as the person I knew. So at 5 years old, it's a traumatic experience. And I don't really think I ever did recover from that, to be honest. I really don't think I ever recovered fully from that. And most people were like, wait a second, what's wrong, Dave? I mean, most people at 5 years old, they realize, they're going to go to school. And well, when I started school, I was very, very precocious. I had I was really smart. So I didn't really feel like I belonged in public school. So my first 3 years of public school after that was constant headaches. I had migraines every day. Literally. Non-stop migraines. I don't know, I couldn't stop the migraines. I literally, to the point where I got sick every day and nauseous, and the migraines were just horrendous. I'd have projectile vomiting. I mean, I couldn't control it. I was like, I can't hold any food down. Blistering headaches for 3 years. And I asked my parents, I said, could you please send me to a Montessori school? Because I really don't like this. I just couldn't handle the rigor. I hated it. Absolutely hated it. So what happened was, I'm just stirring all this around. I'm going to add some more mushrooms. Since I've got them, I might as well. I only need a few for salads for tomorrow. I'm good. Okay. This is boiling, by the way, still back here. That's boiling. Yeah, the turkey, this is making the broth for the turkey gravy. And the turkey neck is in there with a gizzard, so it's cooking. You can actually flip the turkey over, like the neck, and cook it on the other side. It won't really make a difference because it's cooked so long. The meat's just going to fall off the bone, and the gravy will be really tasty. Okay, so let's chop up a few more mushrooms while we got this on the plane. There we go. All right, we're almost done. Throw those in there. Well, they wouldn't send me to a Montessori school, even though I presented with tremendous talents. And instead, I was stuck in the public school system like most of you. So it's not like the end of the world, right? You know, you get through it. Nobody wants to be in the public school system when you get bad teachers. And I had bad teachers on top of having a mother who'd had a head injury, so. But I don't blame my mother for having a head injury. I realized that she couldn't control what happened in her life after that, you know. She looked exactly like she did before, but her personality had changed so dramatically that, you know, I couldn't really understand it as a kid. So learning to adapt to that was difficult. So what I did was I had a few traumatic experiences personally, and as I went through those traumatic experiences at summer camp, I became a really, really good student. So by the time I was in 4th grade, I had converted from kindergarten to 4th grade. I converted from being a quiet kid to being a very vocal kid, and extremely, almost like the class clown. That's exactly how I describe myself, a class clown. So my teacher called me the class clown too in 5th grade, but I was the top student, but I was always making jokes, right? So that moved on to, yeah, David became extremely studious then at that point because I didn't like being accused of being a class clown. So I became really focused on books and learning. And I read so much during a 7-year period, and I crammed so much knowledge into my mind that I virtually went through 7 years of mathematics in 2 and had gotten into college calculus my 2nd year by the age of 15. And I had gone into college physics too at the age of 15 as well. So I'm taking college courses and I was way ahead of the curve on that, and I'm moving rapidly. But the emotional barriers that you should go through in elementary school that kids normally go through where they grow into a social life, it didn't happen for me. I didn't have a social life. I was constantly working, studying, so that I get a scholarship to go to college. Well, then came the major disappointment. After graduating #1 in my high school class of 770 students, having higher SATs than 98% of the population, I was sent rejection notices by all the major universities that I wanted to go to. Now, I was shocked. I was expecting to be accepted at every university with my grades, my background, everything I had done. I was absolutely shocked that Harvard, Princeton, Stanford, and Yale all knocked me down and said, no, you can't go to college here. And you know something? I heard yesterday that there's a woman who had a 4.3 GPA, a white woman, had a 4.3 GPA, and she was just turned down by the same schools that I was turned down with a 4.0. Because you can get a 4.3 GPA now. They have that ability to do that. So this is not the first incident, and it's been going on for 60 years. You know, affirmative action has taken a toll on people like me. Now, I don't know where she's going, but I went to UCLA, and it was like a cattle call. There was no personal attention whatsoever, no assistance that they give you at Stanford, Yale, nothing. And that first year was so traumatic for me at UCLA that to this day I still feel overwhelmed by the emotional loss that I experienced during that time period. To this day, I'm serious. So I wasn't ready for college. I certainly wasn't ready to be rejected by all these universities for having the highest scores in my school and the highest promise, and then being shut down because of the color of my skin, which is really what we're talking about here. That I decided, you know, it's like not worth it, you know? And today, you're facing the same thing. It's like, is it worth it? you won't know if you're going to get a job that'll make up for the cost of your education. But I must tell you that Sarah is a perfect example of a person who is literally using the best that our educational community has to offer, took it and turned it into a good career for herself. And she's even urging her family members to do the same. Now, there's a program at Western Washington, actually Western Governors Union, WGU it's called, University, Western Governors University. They offer a plan, I'm going to turn that off now. They offer a plan where, yeah, you can turn everything off, everything's just sitting. Doing a little pre-cook here. We're done there. Yeah, okay. Western Governors Union, or University, offers a way to get your degree one class at a time. So it's not like going to UCLA where you have 5 classes if you have a full schedule, and you got to compete in every one of those and get all your grades done and all your everything done, papers written, all at the same time. They've made it so easy that you pay your tuition at this online university, and you can take one course at a time and get that course done and go on to the next course. And it's just such a better way to learn. Sarah was telling me about it.
Yeah, you have to do so many courses within the 6 months to be on track, on time. But I really like that. Oh, that looks good. I'm glad you are pre-cooking everything.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
it's okay.
pressure you.
I'm
more like, let's get it done and not.
Yeah.
That's how I cook.
Well, I have a 3-hour period I have to fill here. So.
Oh, well, during that 3-hour period, I'll wait till you're done and then I
go
can
ahead.
show off my cards.
No, I talked about what I needed to talk about. I told people about my history.
So I'm going to send out to my immediate family members. I got this cool picture of myself. Not that big for everybody. I only have one of those for my parents, and then I have smaller ones for my siblings, family, whatever. I made all these cards last night.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Fish looks so good. I'll wait till he's...
Well, I'm almost done. I'm just getting... This is such an easy dish to make. I'm just going to put it all in there. Press it in.
In the past, I used to make pie crust and all that. I filled up the time.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I'm not going to do pies anymore myself. So. Okay, just take the cream of mushroom and add about a half of a cup of milk to it. And you cover it right up. Yeah. And then at the end, we have these onion rings we put on it, which bring it all together. But right there, all those milk solids in there will blend in and bake, and you'll be able to put that on top at the end, and then give it a little extra time to crust it up. But there you go. We're going to put that in the oven with a glass top on it. Don't know where the glass top was.
Oh, I think it's over here on the...
Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to run that in there. Okay, that's all cooking for about 3 hours. I will be pulling the stuffing out though in 1 hour, because that side stuffing has to be cooked a little less than the other. Okay, Sarah's going to show you her thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Let's get rid of this other can for a second.
Yep.
Let me see. Integrated webcam, camera.
You hit the up arrow, I guess.
That's a JPEG. I was just going to move this camera.
Yeah, take the integrated app. This one right here, and just go up arrow.
I was just gonna. Okay, so this is these cards I made for. And then this one has inside. It says, "Hark how the bells, sweet silver bells, all seem to say, throw cares away."
Those are cute.
And this one is, of course, deck the halls.
Wow, you made all those? That's pretty.
Yeah, I made all these. Like the halls of
Handmade cards on nice paper. Wow, it's like parchment.
You know this song?
Which
This
one?
is my mom's favorite song. Can you hear what I hear?
Oh yeah.
Said the night wind to the little lamb. See the night wind and the little lamb.
Oh yeah, you drew it. The night
Way up in the sky, little lamb. A star, dancing in the night with the tail as big as a kite. Yeah. This one doesn't really have a song necessarily, but I did have like the heaven and nature sing. Let heaven and nature sing. Let heaven. And then this one is the candle one. We can be like candles lighting up some darkened way, guiding someone lost in the rain, something else, but hey, yeah. So cute. Candles. I'm gonna give this to my brother, my mom, this is my favorite Christmas carol. And I first heard it when my mom was pregnant with my brother. And it's, they told me, pa-ra-pa-pum-pum, a newborn king to see, pa-ra-pa-pum-pum. This one I don't know if I did that. I don't think I did that great of a job drawing, but my little sister just had a little baby, so. The child sleeping in the night, you bring us goodness and light. And then this one, my brother's kind of religious, so. Joy to the world, the Lord has come. Alright, and then this one, I didn't know, my sister has a dog, and then she just recently adopted a cat.
Oh,
I think that is pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Pretty.
I was looking at a picture of her dog to try to do it like that.
Oh, that's cute.
And then happy holiday humans.
That's cute.
And then I was looking for a thing to go with it, and it was this one's like rocking around the Christmas tree, but barking around the Christmas tree 'cause the cat has climbed on some. And then I changed the bottom to my own. Put the food out where we can see, and that will make us stop. Alright, yeah, so
That's cool.
those are my holiday cards. Yeah. Things to send out. I'm gonna send out my pictures, my little pictures, but not. Last year I sent money. I'm not gonna send money this year. I'm going to. Yeah, just the cards and my picture. That's it. That's all.
That'll be nice.
But yeah. Cool. Okay. Whoa, David's arm. That's David's arm.
Yeah, I'm just having a little avocado. I didn't really have
Now
a breakfast.
is my favorite time of the holiday, which is you do like dips and chips and lunch because the turkey's cooking for 4 hours and you still have to feed people because people want to eat because they're waiting for the turkey to bake. So then you have to go figure out what to feed all the people.
Yeah, really. You have to come up with a lunch to come up with.
Fortunately, there's just 2 of us, so we don't have to feed too many people.
Well, coming up with a lunch on a turkey day is almost like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, but
People, I guess, have to eat lunch.
right?
So.
You could show them what you usually whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna just wrap it up. So your dishes are ready to go. We've got the really.
And in the past, David used to make his own dips.
Oh yeah.
But I said this year, let's make it easy. So that's my dip. That's gonna be my lunch.
Right. Is that the new one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've got the other one open, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then David, did you tell him about your other dip deal? I was gonna go get my dips.
I'm not sure what deal you're talking about. I'm wiping off my glass stove here. Oh, that deal. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the avocado place that yeah. We bought all these things for 99 cents. They were on sale, and they're still good.
Today.
What's that?
They're only a couple days. Gotta eat them.
Oh, you don't have to worry about those.
No.
But the company that makes the guacamole down there, let's keep this for later.
I know. I was just pulling it out.
Yeah.
So David should tell you about his deal with his guacamole. He'll put that back in the fridge and then he'll tell you. When I got my chips for like, oh, they were on sale. How much were my chips? They were on sale for like 99 cents a bag. I was like, I'll try one and see if I like it. And then I liked it. I was going to go back and buy a few more bags. Mm-hmm. And then I saw them for what, like,
oh, they were
2 for $1 or something.
Pretty cheap. Yeah, so you bought a lot of them.
So I just bought a cake. I bought them out.
Yeah,
because they were really good.
They were. Are you hungry? Do you want an avocado? Here.
See how David's leaving his avocado? No, go ahead. I've got guacamole.
Okay, you got your guacamole. Okay. Sarah and I eat differently from different areas, but I'm more inclined to believe that those things were priced down, thinking they'd be able to sell them quickly, and people didn't even notice the price. I was the only one who bought like 12 of those things for $1 each.
My friend did buy one.
Did he? Did she?
Yeah, because she's like a bargain hunter like me.
Well, I bought them all out, and then I ran into another sale at the same place.
Yeah, because these were like I got this for $1, pretty good.
I bought 20 of these things for 46 cents a piece.
My goodness.
Normally $4.99, so I got 1/10 of the cost, and I got 20 of these things in the refrigerator, and they last forever.
I love pastel. So.
When you see quit dates on things, they're not quit dates. They're just projected. Suggested quit dates, yeah. The food is actually quite good, and there's a lot of preservatives in them. So help yourself to that for lunch.
Yeah.
That's cool.
All right, sounds good. I'm gonna take my.
I'm gonna wrap things up in.
Where did I put my cards?
I don't know.
Okay, they are.
I'm gonna wrap things up in a few minutes, and everyone can watch this starting at 3 o'clock. You and I can watch a show.
Yay.
In about 1 hour or 15 minutes, we can watch a show. This has been the lightest amount of work I've had to do for Thanksgiving in a long time. Thank you for your help. I'm thrilled that I got that done. It's all good to go. My mother used to have a thing where she had to have something different for Thanksgiving, so we'd make something like a crab dip or, shrimps. We have some shrimps we're going to serve tonight with dinner too. Some jumbo shrimp, so kind of mix it up. I'll show you what I get. I get these incredible deals at the local Kroger. Anyway, I buy these things for $3.75. I'll show you what they are. And they say 5 ounces of shrimp, but what they do is they stack it filled with, this is not 5 ounces, this is more like a pound. Normally it's $5, and then they package it 25% off, so this is $3.75 for all this shrimp. Look at that. That's like under $4 for all that shrimp. So I mean, we bought these, and then I put them in the top of the refrigerator on the glass. It's like cold storage to the max, and these things are all pre-prepped, and they use a type of sulfur dioxide they put on this stuff to keep it, fresh. So when you open them up, you just rinse them out, drain it, and then they give you the lemon slice. You slice the lemon over it, and I'm telling you, it tastes like fresh as can be. I mean, I've never had a problem with them sitting in the refrigerator for a few days in the cold rack. So Kroger gets a really good deal. We have a thing called Fred Meyer in our area, which is the Kroger version of our area, and they get a really good deal on this stuff. So pass it on to the suppliers. Something like that at a Safeway would cost about $10. So we make a special trip during the week to get food that of that quality but I have to drive 60 miles to do it, so I buy a lot of it at one time. Because our local stores will charge $10 for that amount of shrimp. But jumbo shrimp is the number one selling fish seafood product in the world. And the beautiful thing about it is it can actually be used to, you can farm this stuff. You can make shrimperies. We could easily farm shrimp well into the future on protected areas in intertidal zones. That we can filter water, we can do a lot of things. So the Thailand companies that make these things already have moved into Mexico with their operation. And they're down in Baja, California, making their food, which is amazing, huh? Yeah, literally setting up operations in the cleanest water in the world, which is down near Baja. It's really clean water down there. Better than the water in Thailand. So, hey, what better way to raise shrimp than someplace that has really clean water? So if I were to lead the country, I would definitely be encouraging growth of fish operations in the U.S. because it's a long-term sustainable industry that could revolutionize fishing today. What we have right now is massive fish trawlers out there taking fish from the ocean, the last amount of fish that we have. And humans are going to have to get a lot better at growing fish, and they're already getting good at it. And even the lobster industry is one of the gleaming examples of a really good, sustainable fishing operation. Lobster industry on the East Coast is very vibrant and doing very well. So we have gleaming examples of good examples that we can last into the future, growing fish that's super tasty. People love that. At one point, shrimp was considered the scavenger food, and rich people wouldn't eat shrimp. Rich people in the 1920s and 30s would never eat lobster because it was scavenger food. Nobody would eat scavenger foods. Here we are, in a modern time where people really love scavenger food. We can raise farm-raised salmon. We're already doing it, but we can clean up our act considerably. They use things in farm-raised fishing operations that really should be outlawed. And I can't do that in other countries, but we can certainly do that in America if we move forward with a plan. So one of my plans is to take the New Orleans area and expand it out as a massive fishery and dredge some of the areas leading into the New Orleans area and possibly open it up to shipping. But at the very least, commercial fishing boats do not have to have deep hulls, so we could utilize all of that through a dredged area, which is already possible. And New Orleans, we could literally filter the water going into this area. So we could make sure everything's clean and the environment is really good, and the food quality will increase rapidly. And as the quality increases, so does the food cost, value, and price point. The price point will drop. The cost of the food may be where it is now, but the price point will drop for the producer, and we'll be able to get better quality at the same price you're currently getting at the store. That's the goal. Not to keep riding this inflation wagon, which the Democrats and Republicans seem to enjoy. I can't imagine. There's nothing more unsustainable than borrowing 4 or 5 trillion a year to run a country, which is exactly what's going on right now, which is absurd. It really is. So we can get a zero budget. We just have to tell all the people that have been cronies of the Democrats, Republicans, we get a zero deficit budget by simply telling those people, no, you're not going to get me elected. I'm not taking your money. I don't care about election. I care about the country. And if I can help the country in 4 years, you'll want to reelect me. That's the theory. It won't be because I got money from major corporations that are poisoning the planet. That's the difference. So our two-party system has pretty much been evolving from the idea of these corporations funding these people for reelection. And that's why we're not cleaning up our environmental crisis. That's precisely why. There's not a lot to the story besides corruption. Now, the Democrats never talk about key issues like GMO food, like chemicals in the sky that we have to deal with. They never talk about the pesticide and herbicide industry in our food, contaminants. They never talk about that. They never talk about what I talked about at the beginning of our show, point of use filtration. They never talk about that. We could do so much more than what we've done. So much more. And there's no reason in the world why we would ever limit our population on Earth. We simply need more fresh water, better quality food, and a better distribution plan. That's all we need on Earth. Don't let anybody tell you, oh, the Earth is too crowded, there's not enough space for people. Take one good look at a map and you'll see plenty of space for people. And you'll see a potential that's so huge that it's mind-boggling that we as people on this Earth are not making better use of the Earth. It is absolutely atrocious to think that our leaders don't seem to care about that. But now they care about getting rid of the population? How are they benefiting any of us by wanting to get rid of us? Ask yourself that. How are these public officials doing anything for any of you if they want to get rid of you? I mean, it's literally insane to think that that's what their goal is. And we're battling through all of that. All right. Well, this has been awesome. We're looking at a massive dinner, all cooking inside. I'll probably turn the light on down here, so we'll be taking a look at that. Yeah. With a small gathering, myself and Sarah, we're not going to be doing a lot, but we freeze a lot too. A lot of times I will take the dinner and literally put it in the freezer, in big, huge containers. Like I'll take some of the turkey meat and put it in this, clean this out and put it in there, and I'll put it in the freezer. And I'll have really nice turkey meat to eat 6 months from now if I want it, you know. We don't buy turkey hardly, once a year, so it's not like a big deal. We sometimes do another turkey around Christmas. That depends. All right. Hey, thanks for coming in to Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. It's been a pleasure. I will be back into the show in a few minutes, so been looking at about a 2.5 hour show, rotating. But we do this every year. I'll be starting this at 3 in the afternoon. It'll be rotating into the 5 o'clock hour, and you'll see the beginning of it. But thanks again for coming in and being a part of our show. It's hard to have a family gathering when you don't have a big family. So consider us your family for the holidays at America's Third Party. We're always here. 13.5 years and counting every day. Can't beat it. Okay, have a good one. I'll sign off and I'll see you guys in the real show at 6 o'clock.